What is going on, DJ Nation? Ken and Kim here, bringing you another Fantasy Golf Degenerates podcast this week for the Shriners. As usual, I am here with everybody's favorite South African, Byron Lindeque. Byron, are you okay, my friend? You were dying earlier. Are you alive?
Life hack: never use like a spraying nasal decongestant and then try and mash like 2 sausages right before you go live. I about killed myself. Still recovering, but I'm here. We're ready to party. It's the Shriners Children's Open. I might book myself into Shriners Children's Hospital if I continue on the road that I was before we got in live, but I'm good.
All right. As you guys know, our show is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code Mayo. Get up to $1,000 deposit bonus match when you sign up for the first time. Again, Underdog, always good to us, winning a lot of money. We're going to have some more segments here. Going to have them on Byron's show. You can find them on my X feed. I have a nice little lottery ticket play for us today on Underdog because it did bring out some stuff, and I got a little bit of strategy that I'll go over when it comes to Underdog. So make sure you go to Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code Mayo. Get yourself that deposit match up to $1,000. All right, let's go ahead and let's talk about last week, the Black Desert Classic, the BDC, the Big Dick Classic. Yeah, this Matt McCarty dude, pretty good.
He's the real deal, dog.
Pretty fucking good. I think 3 months ago, I think he's won. This was his 4th win in his last 12 events played. First man to get the 3-win call-up and win an event on the PGA Tour in the same year since Jason Gore. I think in the early aughts is when that happened. So it's been a while since someone's done what he's done. And it was pretty impressive. And I mean, like Sunday, no one really fucked with him. Like it showed that he knew how to win because he has been winning so much here recently. I mean, I think before the streak started, where he's won 4 of his last 12 events, he was outside the top 300 in the world golf ranking. So in these last 12 weeks, I think he's moved up to inside the top 50 in the world. One of 5 golfers in the top 50 in this field this week. Not a bad field. I mean, when we're playing in Vegas, there's going to be people that show up. It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
But let's get back to the Desert Classic. Yeah, really, really no competition. The guy just ran through, took the lead on Saturday, and never gave it up. Never even really sniffed anything close. He got to about 20, 21, and I think Lucas Glover got to 19. Thank you, Lucas Glover, for another place for me this week. My 32nd each way hit of the year with Lucas Glover. I did add this one. I did not add live. I actually had him on my betting card. So he helped out in that situation. But it really didn't have that much competition. And then, he got a little dicey in the beginning of the back, but then he hit that shot on the drivable 14th, par 4 that, rolled 2 feet by, and almost went in. Pretty, yeah. This guy looks like he could be the real deal. There's also another McCarty that's playing this week, so do not get them confused. There's a D. McCarty. I think it's Doug McCarty. I think he's playing, and Matt McCarty. He's playing. Denny McCarthy was playing. It would be trouble.
We've got a Dan McCarthy, a Matthew McCarty, a Maverick McNeely, and a Ryan McCormick this week.
Yeah, all the Macs are in this week. So just be careful when you go over there. Glover playing exceptional golf. Really. He's playing good golf. And I think in the fall, I don't think you have to overthink it too much, right? Guys that are playing well. I mean, you're less likely to see someone in these fall events, I think, that would just come out of nowhere. I think in the regular season, you could see that because, especially like signature events and stuff like that, where it's like the best golfers in the world, you could see someone just, a light switch, right? But I think it's a lot less likely to happen in these fall events. So when you're betting out there, or even picking your DFS people, I would literally just focus on form and course fit. I just keep it simple, stupid, when it comes to these events.
when you say course fit, does that mean how a golfer should fit a course or how a golfer has fit a course?
I think you could look at both. I think you could look at both because there's ways to go around that. Like, of course, course history is important. You look at course history. But let's say a guy like a Max Homa, right, who maybe it's been on the tour for 10 years, right? Maybe his first 7 years he played this course, he played like shit. But then when the real Max Homa came, you know, and we see the Max Homa, maybe not of the last year, but the 2 years prior, you know, then you don't worry about the course history as much. I mean, I still wouldn't put him in like a cash play if a guy is really struggled on this course before. But if his game is at a different level than where it was those years when he was playing that event, then I think that's a good way to get different. Because, you know, a lot of people just see the course history, and then that's what they're paying attention to. And they don't realize this guy's been playing really, really good golf. And really, all the stuff in his stats that he's been improving on should fit this course. Then I think it's easier to play him in that situation. You might get him at a discount ownership-wise because everyone's going to see that, you know, horrible course history. And, you know, that's actually not the player they are now.
Keith Mitchell, Kenny. He's played here 5 times. He's missed the cut 4 times and finished 60th. Mm-hmm. Does that count now, considering he's playing well? Do you think that's out the window? Like, where do we go?
Well, when it comes to Keith, I think the problem with this course is it's not a course fit for him. Yeah. And he's had poor course history. Because, of course, this Shrine is coming up. It's a lot more accuracy. It's a lot more accuracy-based. It's a lot more, you know, greens and regulation, stuff like that. And, you know, Keith, of course, he has the greens and regulation. He has the unbelievable iron play, but like one of his biggest strengths is how far he hits it off the tee, right? And that is definitely not needed this week, especially with the elevation, especially with the winners that we've seen in the past, like Kevin Nas and, you know, guys like that who have done well on this course, who just give it a small little poke out there. So I think in that situation, I do not think I would play him because, you know, I think it mutes his strengths. And, you know, he hasn't played well here in the past. And, you know, he had that horrible, you know, outing a couple of weeks ago. And it's not like he was great last week recovering from it, you know. If he came back to back with like another top 5, then you're like, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that might be, you know, especially because Black Desert, I think you could go ahead and it's very similar to what we're going to see. Yeah, I mean, elevation, you know, instead of desert, it was like lava, but still the same type of like native areas and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure this is the course where, is this the course where Kevin Na shot a 19, or am I thinking of somebody else?
I think
some
that was
other time.
Out at the Valero.
Okay. It might have been
stuck in the trees out there.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I think you could look at last week and really, you know, come through and see how guys are going to go about it this week and have a good read on a lot of guys. And especially, you know, it's the fall. It's a lot harder. And another thing is, you know, what do you think? I get a lot of questions here when we move to the tiers because Todd Kim is a really big question mark for me, and I want to go over him big time. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Anything else about this past week? I mean, Lucas Glover, he played well. Matty Schmid was somebody I liked. You know, that was up there. You know, it was a funny week for me. Like I rostered 28 golfers. I had 42 lineups in DFS. 24 made the cut. I had 35% 6 of 6, and I think the 6 of 6 average was in single digits. I had 85% 5 or 6 or better, and I think that number was under 50%. But I didn't have McCarty. So, I mean,
what was his ownership again? Do you remember?
Over 20, almost 20%.
Again?
Yeah,
wow.
Almost 20%. So I didn't have McCarty. I had Yeager, I had Glover, I didn't have Streelman, I had Schmid, didn't have English, I had Highsmith, I had Hardy, no Hodges, had Norlander, Rogers, Power. So like in the top 10, I had 1, 2, 3. I had 6 guys rostered in the top 10, but I didn't have a winner.
Is so hard, dude.
And I lost
so
money. Now I lost money. Like
that's
I put in $210 worth of shit, and I got $174 back. So yeah, DFS is just hard.
God damn.
Now luckily, cash, even with the Fishburne miscut, which, I did speak about that. I was worried about that. I should have took it to heart a little bit more last week and switched it, but it still worked out. I won in cash. The other guys did fine. Glover, of course, finished third. He was in my cash line. That 9 under, I was outside of the cash looking in until Sunday. And I actually didn't cash in 2 of them, the $25 single entry and the $5 single entry, but I cashed in like the $100, another $25, another $5, another $10. So I still made money. I won in DFS, thank God. Got most of my money back betting-wise because of the Lucas Glover each way. And I actually won in Underdog on Saturday, but I only won 2 of 3 with one tie. So I only got like half of my payment that I would get. And that was like $487 or something. And I spent $550 for the week. So this is like my first losing week on Underdog. I lost like $70, which is not horrible. But like it's the first time I've lost on Underdog in like 6-7 tournaments. Usually I always have, if I win 1 round, I win for the week.
Good.
If I win 2 rounds, I win a lot of money for the week. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, make sure you go to Underdog Fantasy. Let's actually talk real quick about Underdog Fantasy while we're having this topic, because I do want to go over just a couple of things that I'm seeing for this upcoming week. Because do you have anything you want to talk about when it comes to
No, I want to just mention that follow Fantasy Golf Degenerates on X and follow Kenny. Follow me. That way you can get Kenny's stuff as we're going live. I don't get it in Iowa, so it's tricky for me to get stuff out there, but I'm retweeting Kenny's stuff, Fantasy Golf Degenerates accounts, doing all that. All the in-tournament stuff is going to be out there. Mike's got account access now too, so he's going to be using that bad boy to swing some dick, and it's going to be a fun time. So we are looking to have a great time on that account now.
Speaking of Mike and all of your fellow Canadians, happy Canadian Thanksgiving yesterday.
Thank you so much.
So what do you guys celebrate? Like our Thanksgiving is like, the Pilgrims coming in, killing Indians, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what our Thanksgiving's about. Food.
I
right?
think it's just like peace, love, and harmony, dude. I don't know.
There's no like specific thing that happened.
Not to my knowledge. I don't know. I failed history, so I have no clue. So it could be.
It's all of Canada.
It's not
celebrating.
like disease-ridden white people coming from across the seas. You know what I'm saying? And basically savagely killing, millions of Native American.
Yeah,
I get it. Yesterday was Native American Indigenous Day. Okay, we get to celebrate their people, and you might think that like I'm on their side, but I'm not. Y'all lost. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to, right? I'm not being mean. Like you had the land, right? But then you lost, like battles, like wars. When you lose battles and wars, you lose land, right? I mean, that's just what's happened throughout history, all throughout history. And now people are mad about it. They're like, oh, you took our shit. Yeah, of course we took your shit. It was good land. I'm glad we took it.
My God,
I'm really happy we took it. I'm sorry millions of your people died, but like you should have been better at war. I don't know what to say. Like, you know what I'm saying? You should have fought better. I don't know like what more you want in this situation. It's not like it was like slavery where we just like stole black people and put them on ships and threw them, into the United States. I mean, like we came, we fought you, we won, and now the land's ours. This is like happens throughout all of time. So I don't know like why Columbus Day changed to Indigenous Peoples Day. Like I get it, okay? I mean, like it sucks that like a lot of you died, but I mean that's like happened everywhere, right? I mean, like it's like a normal thing when you lose your land. A lot of people die. That's just the way it goes. And like, that's the way history has been throughout all of fucking history. And now you're going to get mad about that shit?
Byron, who did you have to kill to get your land in Iowa there when you came over?
Oh, dude. I brought the foot trackers with me from the Dutch, like that's where we came from. No, but,
that also been a problem in South Africa too, right?
Oh, dude.
I mean, like South Africa was like, I don't know about your history. Like, I don't. Like, was it originally just all the black people there and the white people just came like they did here?
Ja, so ek kan Afrikaans praat. Ek het met jou verskillende goed gesê.
So they came.
So we got the Dutchies. The Dutchies
beat
came.
The black people.
Beat the blacks.
They took over, right? That's what happened, right?
They didn't have any guns. There was also the Anglo-Boer War where the Dutchies took on the Englishmen. So that's why we have this kind of rivalry between us and the Pommies. But, there's strife everywhere you're looking, Kenny. And the bigger your guns, the better the battlefield. And, that concludes the Underdog strategy segment for the show.
Actually, let's talk about Underdog. So one strategy I'm going to have for this week. Okay, so this week it's bent grass greens, right, at Shriners, at TPC Summerlin. And it's a lot of birdies, right? So, what I normally focus on when I play Underdog Fantasy, use promo code Mayo, make sure to get that deposit match bonus up to $1,000, is when I like to do birdies and bogeys higher and lower. That's sort of my favorite thing to do. And there's a way to do it where you can get like more multiplier for your bank, for your buck. Say you go 2 birdies or higher for 2 different golfers. If you add a birdie, if you go lower on another golfer, that's going to make your multiplier a lot more. It'll probably raise from like 4 to 6 almost.
Inversely correlated metrics.
Yes. Exactly. And so that's how I go about looking for it. And the easiest way for me to go about that is with birdies and bogeys. Okay. And so here's the thing. It's bent grass greens, and it's a very, lots of birdies can happen on this course. It's a birdie fest, right? So, I mean, like, if you're looking for guys that you want to target in this, I mean, like, Justin Lower, number 1 in strokes gained putting on bent in this field. And then number 6 in birdies or better gain in the last 24 rounds, right? Another guy, Harry Hall, is a guy that you want to probably target on over birdies. Like, he's 2nd in strokes gained putting on bent grass, and he's 4th in birdies or better in the last 24 rounds. I'm using Fantasy National right now to get all this information, and it's really easy. You don't have to overthink it a lot of the times when I'm doing this. Like, literally, I spend 5 minutes, right, doing research on a daily basis for each round. Like, I try not to overthink, because once you overthink, it's too many thoughts going on in your head. And I realize if you just keep it simple and keep it easy and just go with stuff that, is right in front of your face, I mean, you don't have to go crazy when it comes to Underdog. You don't have to find a hidden gem, right? You know what I'm saying? It's not like
no ownership.
Yeah. Like, just try to find stuff that you think will hit. And so you just keep it simple. Other guys like that would be good, like a Ben Silverman, if you can catch him, 3rd in strokes gained putting, top 25 in birdies a better game. JT Poston, 7th in strokes gained putting on bet, 11th in birdie or better gain in the last 24 rounds. You find Andrew Novak, 12th in strokes gained putting on bet, 7th in birdies or better gain. But now the goal is to find the opposite, so you can correlate that and then get your multiplier expanded, right? And so all you got to do on Fantasy National is just click the ranking, change the ranking to last place in strokes gained putting, right, on bent graph, and then look who sucks. Will Gordon, 131st, second to last in putting in bent, right? 124th in birdies or better. If you see him, smash the under, right? If he's a part of it. Another guy, Gary Woodland, right? 132nd in putting on bent. The worst putter in this field on bent grass, right, in the last 24 rounds, and he's 100th in birdies or better gained. Go low. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if you go back and maybe they haven't been performing that well here recently either. I mean, that's automatic, right? So that's how I go ahead and base my picks for Underdog Fantasy. Now, I do have one play because they don't have the birdies and bogeys up yet. We're recording this Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. They'll probably have it up later tonight or tomorrow on Wednesday. So I just went with placements. All of these guys, and I didn't worry about the correlation here because I have 5 guys, right? And so these 5 guys, they're all going to be inside the top 20, all right? And if all of them hit, it pays out 63 times, okay? So top 20 for Andrew Novak, top 20 for Steven Yeager, top 20 for Harry Hall, top 20 for Cameron Davis, top 20 for Taylor Pendrith. Now, will all 5 of these hit? Probably not. But I wanted to have something for the show for our people at Underdog. We do love them as a sponsor. We love our relationship, and they give us money, and I would like to keep that happening. So I'm going to go ahead and use that Novak, Jaeger, Hall, Davis, Pendrith. All top 20. Yes. And that pays 63-1. So a little lottery ticket play. The most I could bet on that is $40. They won't let me bet more than 40 on that, but whatever. I put that in as maxed it out at the $40, and I'll probably have a first round Underdog play on my Twitter feed, on my X feed, probably tomorrow evening. So make sure you follow me at KendoVT or the Fantasy Golf Degenerates or Byron. It'll be on there at some point in time. Once again, Byron, any other thoughts on Underdog before we move on?
Kenny, I think you crushed it there. I think the most important thing is just to not overthink it.
Yes.
Like, it's simple. Yes, you need to kind of apply some philosophy and magic to what you're doing, but don't overthink this shit. It's simple. It's simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Let's go.
Next week, I'll talk about what I do after the first round, because what I was talking about was a first round thing, right? Because, you don't have anyone playing. I'll do like a little strategy segment for the next couple of weeks for round 2, round 3, and the final round, because each round's a little bit different. All right. When you go around, when you're trying to collect stuff and information that you want for Underdog Fantasy, because the more rounds, the more information you have. Sometimes they're a little bit off on the birdies and bogeys. We'll go over. I'll go over. Right. Maybe we'll make it a little study, and then maybe if Mike is good enough, we could put that all into one little thing at the end, and maybe you guys can tune into it anytime you have any Underdog questions or you want to see it. It'll just be a little extra thing from us. We'll see. I'm just talking out of my ass right now. I haven't spoken to Michael Byron about any of this, but we'll see where it goes. All right. So we'll move on. Let's talk about. Did I tell you I won a fucking scramble?
Let's go, dude. Yes.
Exactly. I've never won a scramble before, and
lights the ciggy. Let's go.
And it was strange because there were still 10 teams. So I thought there were more teams, because when you see 40 cards, it always looks like way more than 40 cards. When you do the scramble and everyone's leading off. But I had 2 guys that were a 10 handicap. Another guy that was a 12, and I'm at 16, right? I mean, I suck. And we shot 59, a legit 59. We each had 2 mulligans each, right? But we bought those.
But that's scramble. That's scramble stuff.
Yeah. So we bought a couple of mulligans. So we each used 2 mulligans each. So we had 8 mulligans. But that was part of the rules. It was incredible because we shot 13 under par. Our putters, all it takes is a hot putting day. It's incredible. Anyone can win if your putter gets hot. Because we should not have won this event with the talent that we had on our team. But we made 13. Okay. Well, first off, we were striking the ball decent. At least one person always struck the ball when we needed it well. And so we hit 18 greens in regulation, never had a birdie putt outside of 30 feet. You know what I'm saying? It was easy. And the gusts yesterday were 20 to 35 miles per hour.
Windy,
2 club. There was 2 club wind on a lot of par 3s. I was hitting a 4 hybrid into 160-yard par 3.
Jesus Christ.
You know what I'm saying? I hit that about 200.
Okay. That's that's a lot. So what was your strategy on the greens with the putting? Were you last? Were you first? Did you switch it up?
Nah. It was usually me and the guy in my cart. We made a lot of putts. I made 5 birdie putts. I think he made 4. The other 2 guys in the other cart are better golfers than us. They were the lower handicaps, but a lot of the times they didn't have a chance to putt because we would always be the first to the putt. Me and my boys, and we would make it. We made a bunch on the first putt without even looking at a read. Right, that's the benefit of a scramble. You can look behind the guy when he's putting and see the exact line of the putt. Half of our putts were the first putt. It was crazy. Just making every single putt. And then the thing is, we missed, like, we almost had a hole in one. I thought we had a hole in one. Like, I had screamed like an idiot. Like, I saw, it was like a 200-yard par 3. It wasn't me. It was this guy, one of my buddies. He hits it. I think he had like some type of 4-iron or something like that. And like the slope went right to left. And so it landed on the right side. You could see it just trickling right at the hole. And then all of a sudden just disappeared. And I was like, holy shit. I started going fucking hype. And everyone was looking at me like I was stupid. I guess like the vision, the sight that I had, there was a mound.
The kitty eyes.
Like a mound. There was like a mound in front. And so when it crossed the mound, it looked like the ball disappeared. But when it went past the mound, everyone else still saw it. I didn't look past the mound. I didn't know there was a mound. I just thought the ball disappeared. And then we left ourselves 7 foot for a birdie. We missed that. We parred that hole. We had two birdies inside 10 feet that we missed. Right?
Did you money again?
What? No.
Did you
missed them. We missed them. We used our mulligan and missed them. And then so our score could have been better. And then on the third hole, I hit a putt, probably a 30-foot putt. It hit right in the middle of the flag stick and bounced out. It should have went in if there was no flag. So after that, we took the flag out.
Never putt with the flag in, ever. Like, unless it's a downhiller that you can't stop, take that sucker. It's going to screw you more often.
Yeah.
Ask Matty Fitz. He's not from playing PlayStation.
I thought that having it would help, but playing with it in a lot most of the time, like in the last few years, I've definitely seen some shit that should have went in and hasn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you on that. But yeah, it was cool. Like,
and that belt,
the
belt.
Oh yeah, we won out. So this tournament we've done every year. Like it's a thing we do every year. It's called the Nova Classic. A buddy of mine runs the tournament. And so, you get to keep the belt for the year, like Claire Jug. You get to keep it for a year, and they actually engrave your name on the back of the belt. So all the winners' names are engraved and the year that they won. And then we'll have to bring it back. So he's engraving it right now, so I don't have it. So at some point in time, I'm going to like wear it on the show, of course. So, but it was funny because I didn't like. I kept an even keel. Like, I started off like double Jameson in my coffee, right? And I was just sipping on that. And, I was like, we're playing pretty well. Like, I can't get hammered. I only had one other shot of Jameson the rest of the time. I only had 2 beers. Kept it nice and level. Now, I started playing well. What I realize now is, like, my body is old. And I can stretch as much as I want, but I still never feel limber. So what I've been doing lately is I've been eating like 100 milligrams of edibles like 30 to 45 minutes before my tee time. And so by the time I get to the first tee, I'm like really loose and ready to go. And that's actually been really helping me. I've been doing that here recently, and I've shot in the 80s like 4 of my last 6 times I've been out since I started.
No wonder you're not drinking a lot on the course. Can you already blitz before you show up there?
Yeah, but I mean 100 milligram high, but I'm not like stupid high. I ate like 150 right now, so we'll see how it is by the end of the show. But the thing is, I forgot to eat it this time, so I ate it on the first hole, and so instead of before, and so like I sucked for like the first 3 holes, and then like off the tee, and then putting was just on fire for the rest of the round. My game. The reason why I shoot. Like, okay, I played Saturday and I probably hit 10 of 14 fairways. And like, I'm talking about like 250 minimum, 10 of 14 fairways. It was sick. Like, it was the best I've ever drove the ball. I had this new little technique. I have a heart. So I've been trying to get a little bit more wrist action, on the back, on my backswing. So I saw this one little tidbit and it's helped. Like, pretend there's like a little piece of dirt, like on the back, so you're bringing up our back, so the back butt of the club would be here, right? Pretend there's a little piece of dirt, like right on the butt of your club. So when you're coming back, you flick the dirt off. So it gives me a better it helps me actually use my wrist, because I never really use my wrist a lot. On the backswing, so you'd see, and like my club would be like straight up in the air, right? This is to give more of that. So what I've been doing is I've been pretending there's a piece of dirt, and I'm throwing it out and trying to land that piece of dirt on this front shoulder. Random shit that I saw.
Very random.
You know what I'm saying? Like my algorithm on X is basically like weed, gambling, and golf tips. Basically, that's what my algorithm is, right?
Probably matches about like 80% of people who watch this show's feed. So.
Yeah. And so I was like, well. And so I tried it, and it just fucking worked. And I was hitting like everything, like 250, minimum 250. Some I was hitting like, I had a couple close to 3 that day, right? I shot 88. And this is like, that's not great considering, there's only like 2 par 4s over 400 yards, right? You know what I'm saying? Like everything's like 380 to 400, basically, all of these holes. And I'm in at 250. Right, 260. I have like slip wedge in a lot of the times, and my iron game's so bad that like my putting was amazing. I was hitting all the fairways, and I still shot 88. I had a triple and 3 doubles. Like, and I hit like every fairway. It's the iron game, and the funny thing is the iron game used to be the best part of my game, but I've been focusing so much on my driver. Now the driver is my best part of my game.
Are you trying to sling dirt with your wedges, with your irons now again?
I do that too. It's with all your clubs, yes.
Well, leave it with the irons. Just
but I mean, my irons I've just been bad for a couple of years now. They used to be. They used to be my best. Before like 2015, I never hit driver. I was 3 iron. They called me Cal Ripken. That was my nickname. Because I was the Iron Man, right? I was the Iron Man. My nickname was Cal Ripken. Like my buddy Bill Old down in Roanoke he gave me that nickname. It's because I never felt comfortable with the driver. So I would hit 3 iron like 215, 220, down the middle basically every time. Right? Like my irons are great. That was when I was the best golfer where I was shooting like low 80s, almost. I shot 81 6 times that way. And then I was like, okay, if I can somehow learn to hit a driver, right? If I could somehow learn to hit a driver, this show is not going to end before your 7:00 show. Sorry. anyways.
I might just take over hosting abilities as we go.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, if I can hit a driver, right, I should be able to break 80 because my iron game is so strong. And so I started trying to hit a driver, and I was all right for a little bit, but I always played like the banana slice, right? And like back then, DJ was my favorite golfer, and he was hitting that little baby draw back then. Now he switched to the cut. He switched to the cut, but back then, earlier in his career, he was still hitting that little baby draw, right? Just beautiful. And I was like, man. And that's what I want, because I was hitting driver, but I was hitting like 230, 240 maybe if I was lucky because I was so much banana slice on it. And so that's how all my clubs were. They were sliced. But I mean, so I was like, all right, I'm going to try and learn to hit a draw. And so for about a year, I switched everything to try and learn to hit a draw. And my driver got better. But my irons were sucking and then gradually getting worse and worse. And then I got a new driver with new technology. And, that shit is unbelievable. If you have a driver older than 5 years old, probably older than 8 years old right now, go get a new driver. Like people say like one club will not, getting a new club doesn't help your game. The driver. The irons do not. Okay, because I spent $1,600 on these new irons just last year, and it makes me hit the ball farther, which makes the miss even worse. Basically, is what's happening now for my irons. But the driver is the one club that if you buy and it's new and it's fitted and it's custom to your swing the way it is, right? So I have a fade bias, right? So because I hit the draw. So the way they do the club faces, they make it more apt to hitting a fade, right? Yeah. And so that is I mean, like the driver has become my most accurate club, like of all my clubs. And it's I can pop it out there 270 pretty regularly, right? You know what I'm saying? Like pretty regularly, 260, 270. And like I said, it's the most accurate club I have now. It went from a club that I didn't use, and then I sucked at and was getting all these, and then now it's my best club.
Yeah.
But changing my swing in that situation has really fucked my irons. So I don't know how to fix that. So that's going to be my next step. But the thing I worry about is if I try and fix the irons, then my driver will be all fucked up again. What do you think? You're a guy who's played, really high level golf. Like,
so what are your irons? What is wrong with your irons? Like, what are they? Are you fatting it? Are you hitting it skewed?
It's a lot of swing hooks, banana hooks. And so the thing is, like on my driver, I will aim straight and I'll banana it like 40 yards to the right, but it'll come land right in the middle, right? You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes it won't even banana. It'll be nice. It'll be a nice little, like Dustin Johnson baby cut. But I just aim in the middle of the fairway and I'm good, right? My irons, I do the same thing, but I'm not pushing it. I'd say the higher the iron is. So like my hybrids are different. They go banana and they go straight. Starting with my 6 iron. So 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way down to probably the gap in the sand I'm okay with. All right. But like everything in between, it's straight and it's just this.
Where's your ball position? Like, because I was saying this
right in the middle. Right.
Yeah. So maybe just try and shift it like half a ball
forward,
ball back to your right foot. Are you right-handed, right? So you want it towards your back foot because that way, like your club is going to close. Like that's how the club swings, right? So if it's in the middle, it's going to square up perfectly. If you wanted to push it out to the right-hand side, if you move that ball this much, your face is going to be open a bit.
But the thing is,
and then that way it's going to push it out.
This is that leads you more susceptible to cutting the ball, like literally like what's it called when you hit it, blading the ball.
Sure,
blading.
But that's if you're a very bad golfer. I think if you're shooting in the 80s, you're going to be fine. Your hand-eye coordination should take care of the rest of that. I think you don't have to change your swing whatsoever. Just move your ball position. A lot of golf can be fixed before you move a muscle, dude. So like just putting that ball back a little bit backwards, swing the same way, see what happens. Fiddle around with your ball position, see what happens. We could chat next week again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing again on Saturday. I think I'm going to go up to West Virginia in a couple of weeks. A buddy owns a cabin up there, and there's a bunch of good golf courses around this cabin. I think I might do that before it starts getting like super cold. Looking at the weather forecast, we have until like the middle of November where it's supposed to be nice on the weekends, but we shall see. All right. Anything else? Oh, another thing I want to talk about. Did you watch the coverage for the Black Desert?
No.
Okay. So Friday. So we talked about this last week where they had the cut line and it was like the last hour of coverage. Well, that's because it was only that last hour of coverage is the only hour I was able to see of the tournament last week. This week at Black Desert, it started so late. I basically got home 30 minutes into the coverage on Friday. They were doing that the entire round.
That's
80% of all shots, the entire round on Friday, were golfers on or within 2 strokes of the cut. So we got to give Golf Channel the props for that. I mean, we give them shit. We deserve it. Deservedly, they deserve it. We give them shit all the time. But I mean, if they're going to do something right, we got to, at least be like, good work. A little pat on the back, right?
Yeah.
Because if you guys are watching this coverage in the fall swing on Friday, it has been spectacular. Like the way golf coverage should be. Now, granted, they know no one's watching. They know it's the fall swing. Their ad revenue they're making in the commercial breaks are so minuscule that it probably doesn't even matter to them, to NBC as a whole, right? So of course they can show more golf. There's not going to be as many commercials, but at least during the coverage, it's always great too. It's shot after shot. I just wish we could somehow make that all 4 days, right? Because that Friday coverage now is almost must see every week. if they're going to do it like this. Like must-see TV, like every week, especially if you're a DFS player, because it's incredible. Like they're showing like a lot of people. It's not like the same 8 people. They're showing like 20, 30 different people on and around the cut line. I mean, it's fucking unbelievable.
I saw Wesley Bryan had a putt for eagle overnight.
Yeah.
Because they never finished on time. He had to come back and knock in an eagle to get in.
It looks like he fucking won the event. Yeah,
I know, dude. Like, that's the thing. It's like, these are the guys that need to make the cut. So it makes much more sense to do it during this time of the year. But even during the regular season, we need this shit, dude. Like, this is what we're thriving. This is what we want. We need to hype this up and make sure Golf Channel knows that we love this stuff.
Ryder Cup tickets. Right. What are your thoughts?
I would have been...
Everyone doesn't know. So... $750 to get in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think my opinion's going to differ than most. So why don't you go ahead?
Kenny, if I want to go for all 4 days, that's my entire accounting salary for the month. Like, what the fuck, dude? That is unreal. I understand it's in New York, but, you know, Iowa, we're making peanuts out here, but, like, that is ludicrous, dude. And, you know, I get why they're doing it. Keep, you know, the richer you are, the less you want to be rambunctious, like me getting into it with Danny Rapp in the shuttles and stuff. But, like, it doesn't make any sense to me where we need grassroots people to make it to these things. I mean, $750, dude. You know, you spent that at strip clubs times 4, and that can go a longer way over those venues. So what's your take on that?
Okay. So outside of the Masters, the Ryder Cup is probably like the number 2 event in golf, right? It's basically Super Bowl-esque, almost. If there was a Super Bowl in golf, it would be the Masters and the Ryder Cup, probably 1A and 1B, in my opinion, right? When it comes down to it, because those, you probably get more casuals watching those 2 events than any other events the whole year, right? So, I mean, Super Bowl tickets are outrageous, right? Masters tickets are outrageous. Like,
but can you go into Super Bowl for 4 hours?
I understand that. But the cheapest ticket for upper deck nosebleeds for the Ravens Commanders was $350 this past week, a regular season game. And this is just what tickets cost nowadays. It sucks. Don't get me wrong. It sucks. And it cuts out a lot of the people that should be watching this event who want to go and watch it. But I mean, like, look, it's about the money. They need the money, like, and they know people are going to pay. It's simple economics. It's supply and demand. I mean, I get it. I mean, like, it's expensive as shit, and it really cuts off a lot of the shit. But like, I don't know what you expect businesses to do.
Well, that's the
like,
thing.
am I just jaded? Am I just jaded in our new society and how everything is nowadays? Because I mean, like that's just the way it is.
Well, it's like, where does the money go? Who's making this money? What is it being used for? If it's being pumped back into stuff that's going to help potentially the guys that can't afford to make it there enjoy other stuff. I don't know what that is. I haven't thought about it that far, but yeah, that's what we need. You know, like trickle down economics, so to speak. We've spoken of history, economics, everything on this show. So I think, you know, it's a bit weird, but from an entertainment value and from like the atmosphere, you know, like the type of person that's showing up to watch, Kenny, is a different person. Don't you think?
Yeah, no, it's definitely. Here's the thing. I think that, okay, so you're saying if the tickets were cheaper, it would be like a lot more rowdier. I don't think so. Not in the golf demographic. I think cheaper tickets will have true fans of the game who come in. It doesn't mean that they're going to be the ones you worry about are the ones with money, the spoiled, entitled, can do or say whatever they want and get drunk, like this guy that we've seen at the Ravens game. Going around just punching Commanders fans in the face, right? Supposedly his daddy's super rich. He was kicked out of like 3 high schools. He's been arrested multiple times, gotten off. Like the thing is, like, the people that can, I'm not saying everybody that can afford these tickets, but like a lot of people in a demographic that can afford these tickets that would want to go, and something in like the 30 to 25 to 40-year-old crowd. Some of those guys are way more douchier than fucking guys who can't afford these tickets. I think the crowd is worse with these type of people because they're more likely to say and do stupid shit because they're used to saying and doing stupid shit and getting away with it and not having many repercussions.
Okay, but like, is doing and saying stupid shit different to cheering on your squad?
I think the cheaper, if it was cheaper, it would bring people in who would more cheer, who would really get rowdy and really into the event. I think when you bring it to this demographic, I know people say it's corporate, but I don't think that's going to be the problem. There's going to be some rowdy ass motherfuckers there. And I think just because they have money and can afford something like this doesn't mean automatically they're going to be better acting fans. I think in some cases it's probably the opposite.
Sure. I mean, there's spectrums too. There's outliers for everything. But I would say that the atmosphere would probably be better if it was just, regular run-of-the-mill average Joes walking around there.
Okay. You think maybe I'm doing this on purpose. All right, we'll talk about this one next week. I was going to be a dick and add another thing just because I know you have to get out of here soon and I wanted you to worry. But
I'm like, God damn it.
All right.
I might just do my show on this show. Mike, can I share my screen?
Let's go ahead. Let's go do our commercial break. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. It's also the fastest growing fantasy app in the industry. I personally like the pick'em games. Pick whether your favorite players will have a higher or lower stat total in this week's game for a chance to win big. Can win up to 100 times your money in a single night. Pick between 2 and 5 players to build a pick'em entry. Can also make rivals picks, which pits 2 players against each other. Now, the reason I like the pick'em games is because of these things called scorchers. There's these little chili peppers next to the golfers' names, and if you click on that, it adds to your multiplier, so you can win even more money. Sign up today with promo code Mayo and get your first deposit doubled up to $100, as well as an instant pick'em special. Must be 18 or over and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit www.ncpgambling.org. All right, so we're back. Let's go to our kickbackgolf.com betting segment. Go to kickbackgolf.com. Use promo code FGD15. Get 15% off all merchandise on kickbackgolf.com. Of course, they have all the great cool golfers' names in basketball jerseys and baseball jerseys. Tiger, Scheffler, Spieth, Bryson, Koepka. Any golfer that you're looking for, Sungjae, Sahith, all those dudes. Just go to kickbackgolf.com. They got basketball jerseys with their college alma mater or what country they're from. Baseball jerseys with the same thing. Make sure you go use promo code FGD15. All right, so let's get to our bets for this week. Byron, why don't you go ahead?
Kenny, the name of my show for the next half an hour is Power Blackout. And I'm going with Seamus Power, baby, at the top of the board, 33-1, 35-1, whatever you can find. This short positional golf course, as we said it last week, I was going with him again. Let's see what he can do this time around. He's starting to kind of rattle off these top 10, top 11 finishes nowadays. He's moving in the right direction. He's flirting with this thing, and he likes to beat it up on these shitty fields, and I think Seamus Power is looking to do some damage this week. Daniel Berger, 70-1. This guy, he was over par at the Black Desert and made the goddamn cut and finished like 31st, kind of plateaued out there, but I was on him last week. It was disastrous to start off with, but he made a big comeback. And I think short positional golf courses, what do you think about the Honda Classic, Daniel Berger? These kind of venues where you have to have accuracy, good ball striking with the short irons, and then you make your putts. He's starting to find his groove again. So this number is delightful. I thought there was 90s out there to start off with. I got in a little late at 70. Let's go. Ben Griffin as well was well down the leaderboard to start the week, 45-1 now. Let's see what he can do. He started climbing up the leaderboard as well. I think he's got a chance. And then the chalkier guy that I'm going to have is Taylor Pendrith at 25-1. Phenomenal course history at this venue. He's been playing some good golf too. I think he's also in that tier. I mean, we're going to chat about the tiers here later, but he's easily in the tier of the elite golfers for this field. And I think at 25-1, when you're getting a Tom Kim at 12, I know he hasn't won this thing back-to-back, but I'll take a 25-1 on Taylor Pendrith, sure.
I'm going to go ahead. I like that. I'm going to go ahead and take Taylor Pendrith 22-1 with 8 places. That I actually like that bet. I think he is the class of this field in the 2024, and I don't think it's even close. He's won his event. He has a win, played at a President's Cup, has a slew of top finishes, has played in big boy fields on big boy courses, and has performed well at those events. I don't think it's even a matter of opinion. I think he's been the class of this field in the last 10 months. And at 22-1 with 8 places, I'll go ahead and take that number over Tom, 12-1 Tom, who's probably not playing very good golf. But I do want to talk about that. Let me move on. My next bet's going to be Eric Cole, 30-1 again. A course where you don't really have to succeed with your driver, right? Just poke it out there, just get it in play. You know what I'm saying? And he's had some decent finishes here recently. We've all expected to win from him at some point in time. I think this would be a good time. I mean, the field's probably the best we're going to see in the fall, except maybe for like Zozo. I don't even know, but still, it's not a great field. So I think this is again a course that he can thrive on, positional, like you said, for Seamus Power, who you tempted me. I was thinking about that as well. My next is going to be Cam Davis, 30-1. I'm playing sort of a narrative on this one. Okay, we've seen Matt Hughes. We've seen Nick Taylor last week probably have his best performance in a while after the snub, right? Of the Presidents. We saw Billy Horschel win an event in Europe, beat Rory, right?
Billy is such a European.
The week after he was snubbed from the President's Cup team, we have Cam Davis, who, by all accounts, should have been on the team, right? I should have been on the team. And again, this is not all entirely narrative based, but again, he makes a ton of birdies. He avoids the bogeys. He's fairly accurate off the tee, inside the top third of this field, in driving accuracy. So I'm going to go ahead and use him at 30-1. All of these are going to be with 8 places. Matty Smith, 40-1. He's just playing good golf. Again, not overthinking. Good form. He's playing well. I don't think he's played here before, but we've seen like first timers do fine on this course. It's as long as your caddy can do some basic arithmetic, you should be okay. There's not really too much to this course other than that. Except don't hit it in like the cactus. That's you know what I'm saying? Like, not much to the shit, right? Like, don't hit that shit in the cactus and make sure your caddy can do math correctly. Boom, right? I like Berger too. What was your number for Berger?
35 on Caesars yesterday.
Berger?
33. Oh, Berger, 7.
Oh,
sorry,
okay,
I thought you were talking about Seamus.
Okay, yeah. So I got 60, but I got 8 places too. Again, same shit you said. Nothing. Insane about that one. And I have one more. Joe Highsmith.
Look at that, Joe.
Couple of top 15s in his last few events. Why the fuck? When he comes into my model, and when we get down to that 7K range, I think he's 7 on the dot. If I don't. Yeah, there he is. He's top 20 in my rankings. Again, tons of birdies, good with his wedges. Or stuff like that, so and a good form coming in. So again, I could do 100-1. There's worse bets than that. And that's probably going to be my card for the whole week.
I love it.
Any other bets before we move on?
I will mention that I am at like 9.5x exposure. So I'm going to start trying, Kenny, to do a few live bets on the outright side because I feel like I can probably feel a bit better about who I'm betting on after seeing what's going on. And
save my week last week with the Lucas Glover.
Exactly. So I think I'm going to start doing that a little bit. I haven't done that ever, not very often, but usually with Justin Thomas, I used to do that. But now he's not playing well enough to even do that. So
it's Scotty Scheffler 28-1 Friday afternoon of the Players.
Let's go. You see, that's the thing. Like, the books can get sleepy, but at the same time,
you're not going to see that from unless he's like, I don't even know. How far back would Scotty have to be after 2 rounds to be 28-1 now?
You would have had to make the cut on the number, I would imagine.
Like, I feel like that happened, and at the U.S. Open or the PGA, I forget, and I feel like he was still like 20. I don't know. This guy's just so good.
They don't want you. All right, I have some other bets though. All right, so I have my Bubba boys, 4 boys, for a casual 7-1 parlay, top 40 parlay over at Bet365. Steven Yeager, Kurt Kitayama, Benny Griffin, and Adam Stenson. Just Steven, Kurt, Ben, Adam. Pretty much Bible characters over there for you. Maybe I'll call them the Bible boys this week in Vegas. See what happens.
4 disciples.
Yeah, the 4 disciples. I love that. Yes.
Or the 4 gospels.
No, I like the disciples. That's the boys who's going to roll
4
with
gospels. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Oh, there we go. Sure. Okay, let's go with the gospel boys. Yeah, then. But yeah, 674 plus for the 4 guys there to kind of all finish inside the top 40. These are all guys that are finishing it right inside the top 40 towards the top of my model. So they're all minus 115, minus 38, minus 190, minus 175. So not going to be betting them on their own for top 40s, but as a little parlay for top 40 parlay, it's basically a make-cut parlay. Let's be honest, yeah. For a 7-1 outright there.
One's going to finish like 52nd, right?
Oh, yeah. After I
said that, you said that.
Kick myself in the dick. It's all good. We're fine. Some other bets, boys. Some other bets, yeah. I'm going to rattle off the rest of them on my show after this at 7 Eastern. But yes, Taylor Penrith, top 10, plus 275. It's the same odds as Tom Kim for a top 5. What are we doing with that kind of a number out there? So I'm going to dive into that. And then JJ Spahn for a top 10 at plus 425. I love that a lot. He's been popping inside the top 10, basically 1 in every 4 starts. So there's a very nice edge in that department. And then I am actually going with Ben Griffin for a top 40 at minus 140 as well. He finishes inside the top 40 60% of the time. So minus 140, 58% implied probability. Nice little edge there too.
So I know Byron just said 7 p.m. We're recording this on Tuesday night this week. Byron does the show is Back 9 Bets every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. You guys should tune in and listen as he goes in deep and extensive into all of his models and everything to back up why he's betting who and what and stuff like that. Gives it a little bit more in-depth, a little bit more context when it comes down to it. It's on Mayo Media Network. It's on live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. You can watch him live. You can ask questions. He answers questions live on the show. Occasionally, you might see me there with an underdog bet sometimes on Tuesdays. So make sure you check that show out too. If you like our show, we got a little bit of the humor. We got, a good amount of golf, but, a lot of fun. There's a lot more info in Byron's show at 7 p.m. On Tuesday nights on the Mayo Media Network. He literally has, his Excel's models on your screen, and you see everything he's talking about, everything that he's going through, and his thought process when it comes to why he's making the bets and everything he's making. It's really a must watch. So if you haven't checked out his show, Back 9 Bets, every Tuesday night, live, 7 p.m. Of course, if you miss it live, you can always catch it on the replay. So make sure you check it out on Mayo Media Network. All right, so let's go on to this week. Finally, about an hour into the show. I did that show on purpose because I know Byron has to have his show started in about, oh, shit. Okay, so the PGA Tour, the heads to Vegas this week for the Shriners Open from TPC Summerlin in Sin City. TPC Summerlin hosted this event since 2008. This is another event where we see a lot of golfers, get their maiden win. Like I said, 12 of the last 22 have gotten their first PGA Tour win here, including like 6 of the last 15, something like that. So a lot of maiden winners. Eric Cole. There are a ton of golfers with local ties, that play here. Doug Kim, Harry Hall, Charlie Hoffman, Lipsky, Taylor Montgomery, Justin Saul. I'm not going to play that narrative anymore. Especially after getting burned last year, get fish burned. A lot of the times, I said this before, when golfers play in their home event, they have a lot more to think about than they normally would. Like tickets, like, dinners with friends, people they haven't seen in a long time, stuff like that. Like, look at Charlie Hoffman, like he lives in Vegas. Like, this is his home shit. Like, his last, 11 starts, miscut 4th, miscut 18th, 74th, miscut 44th, miscut. Like, he's miscut 6 of the last 10 years, 7 of the last 10 years on his home course, right? Not great. Now, this course plays on the easy side, as the majority of winning scores have been, in and around the 20 or better range. Now, you would think this usually makes it a bomb and gouge type course, but, they redid the course a few years ago to try and dissuade that. It actually sort of worked. Now the renovations haven't done much to make the course tougher, but it seems to have made the event more of a practice where it brings shorter golfers more into play, right? You know what I'm saying? And because you're going to see a lot more left-hand driver possibly with the elevation. You're going to see a lot of shorter guys have chances here. I mean, you look at some of the former winners, it's not like bombs, right? Not all of them. Now, TPC Summerlin, 7,250-yard par 71, 4 par 3s, 3 par 5s. The course is significantly shorter than its actual length, 2,000 feet above sea level, somewhat like last week. The balls can travel as much as 10% longer than normal. 2 of the 3 par 5s are reachable in 2 by almost everybody. And a par 5, 13th, over 600 yards, but still, people will be able to reach it. Outside of the 230-yard 8th hole, the par 3s aren't too long, especially when you take into account the altitude. The 5th and 17th hole are around 195 yards, and the 14th is only 165. The par 4s are fairly short as well. Only the 2nd and the 3rd holes are over 450 yards. 7 of the other par 4s are between 400 and 450, and 2 are under 400, with the 15th possibly being drivable. Now, off the tee, golfers are going to see fairly wide tree-lined fairways that tighten up a little bit after the 300-yard marker. A few fairway bunkers and light rough. They have grown the rough here for this tournament the last few years, but the length of the rough isn't the issue. The issue is the Bermuda, causes flyer lies, makes distance control, very, very tough. 2016, 2018, 2019, less than 55% of the fairways were hit, and the green regulation percent average was almost, 75% for the golfers that made the cut. The numbers have also been similar the last few years. Now that 75% is a little misleading because the greens are large. Now, hitting fairways is going to be key to getting the ball in birdie range on approaches. Length off the tee, usually an edge, but looking at the contenders, like I said, the golfers that have shot 61 or better here since 2016. Rod Pamplin, Francesco Molinari, Chez Reavie, Lucas Glover. Why is he not playing this week? Kevin Na, right? Not known for their length and skewed towards the accurate off-the-tee type golfer. The fairways play firm due to the arid weather, which will once make the course play even shorter because of the massive rollouts that you're going to see on drives. The trees are spaced out and not bunched together, so missing fairways won't be as penal as it is on many tour courses. But like I said before, it's going to make distance control an issue. If golfers miss wildly on their drives, they might have to deal with rocky native area and desert vegetation. It's pretty wide open off the tee, really. Golfers can still go low if they miss fairways, but 8 of the last 10 winners were all inside the top 20 in driving accuracy for the week of their win. Kevin Na was one of the outliers, ages ago, but he went buck wild with his putter. Now, even with that, hitting fairways makes birdies more in play, and it's almost always a shootout at TPC Summerlin. Now, I'm not saying we saw Bryson do some crazy shit with the drivers. I don't think you need to do that here. Again, short drives on approach shots. Golfers are going to see large bent grass greens, fairly flat, except for a few places. Now, the greens are tricky. This is where I think course history might play a little bit more importance at a course like this, because it's hard to read these greens, like traditionally hard. And a lot of it has to do is it's built on the side of a mountain, in near Vegas. You can actually see the Vegas Strip from the course. And a lot of people who play this course, they say every hole, no matter how the break really looks, really slopes towards the Vegas Strip. Having a lot of playing time here can't help but it can also not help because look at fucking Charlie Hoffman, right? But, that could just be an outlier. Go ahead.
Correlations are very high here, Kenny, for course history, higher than most courses.
Yeah, the green, yes, and I think that has a lot to do with it, is the putting. Now, the greens are averaging speed, tip meter around 11, front 9 more difficult than the back, and the last 4 holes are going to decide the tournament. Drivable par 4, reachable par 5, par 3 with water in play, and a hard par 4. What kind of numbers, what kind of stats are you looking for in golfers this week?
Keeping it simple, Kenny. Keep it in the fairway. Don't hit into the cactus. And we're just trying to make sure that those wedges can get nice and close. And then you're going to have to sprinkle in a few long irons here and there, but make those putts on those bent grass greens. And there's a tinge of extra emphasis around the greens here, because if you are missing the fairway, you're not going to really have a great opportunity, because you said Bermuda rough, right? It's a sneaky kind of grass to kind of hit shots out of the rough. And I think that really impacts guys' abilities to hit greens in regulation. Yeah. So you want to make sure that you can keep it in the fairway. If not, you need to be good out the rough. And that's where distance does help. So if you want to get a little contrarian, a little bit of distance might help in DFS.
All right, so get to these tiers. We got 3 in the 10K range. I just want to talk about Tom real quick. So you think in the fall, it's probably not that many casuals playing DFS. It's probably more of the hardcores, right, playing DFS. They know Tom Kim has been struggling. He has not been playing good golf for a little while. He didn't even make the top 50 to be in signature events for next year. That's probably why he's playing this event, to stay inside the top 10, the next top 10, so he can get into a couple of these signature events next season early on. And so with not many casuals playing, and I think a lot of casuals just go for the top guy, right? I think that just happens a lot of the time, and a lot of times the top guy's like chef. It just makes a lot of sense, right? At some point in time. Now, do you think that we could see sub 15% ownership to Tom Kim?
I don't think so. I think the course history is too much.
That's what I was thinking too. I think that would overcome everyone's fears. But so what are you going to do with him?
I'm not playing him. I don't have him even with the course history in my model. I've got Davis Thompson, Taylor Pendrith ahead of him. So there's guys that I want to play instead. And I think
that's why I don't think you're going to be alone. I honestly think you could be like 12%. I'm not an ownership guy. I could be having no fucking clue what I'm talking about.
Course history.
But I do not want to play him. I don't give a fuck about his course history. He's been playing like asshole. And the other thing is, it's a lot of Americans playing DFS nowadays. People just don't like him as much as they did before the President's Cup, right? Could that play a little advantage? Something when it comes down to it. I mean, everyone tries to not play their biases, but does that really happen? I don't know. Well, it's going to be interesting. I really want to see what the ownership is for Tom this week. But yes, like you said, Pendrith, my first cash game cornerstone. I just think he's the class of the field. I don't care. He's played competitive golf recently. The President's Cup. That was competitive golf. The most competitive golf he probably could play. All right. So I'm not worried about any rust or anything with him. A class of the field. And you get him at a discount price, in my opinion. I think at $10,200. I didn't even look at his course history. I didn't really care. It's pretty good, right?
It's good. It's good.
Okay. There you go. I was clicking his name no matter what. He was just, he was going to be my guy. Who do you like better between him and Davis?
Pendrith. I think Pendrith is the guy. I mean, the 7th place finisher, 3rd place finisher last year. So good to see him doing that. And then again, he's coming right off that President's Cup, Kenny. The vibes, the confidence, the morale coming from these venues. These guys can really come and shine. And I think he's one of the few that are in the field outside of Tom Kim that can really bring that energy too. So big fan of Taylor Pendrith. Obviously bet him to win this tournament as well.
9K range, second cash game cornerstone, Eric Cole. We already talked about him, why I liked him in my bets. Pretty simple. I think a win is coming for him. I think it's going to be on a course where you don't have to pull out the driver. You don't have to be the best driver of the golf ball to win the event. So, I do like Eric Cole as my second cash game cornerstone this week. I like this range a lot. Jaeger. Steven Jaeger is somebody that I think is again, not overthinking. He's been playing well in the fall. He's won an event in the past. I'll go ahead and play it. Right? I just, again, just not overthink it too much, even though when it comes to stats, it doesn't look great. But he's just playing good golf. So I mean, let stat bros fade him. I'm going to go and play him. No problem. I hate to say it, slave master Bo Hostler. I'm going to have to play, again, a guy who's just been playing good golf in the fall at a price at $9,500 or whatever he is. I mean, it seems very affordable. He's been coming in this fall and been up there in the leaderboard a bunch. So I'll go ahead and use him. Who do you like in this range?
Bo Hostler is going to be probably the highest owned option on the slate.
You think?
I think so. So that's fine.
Oh, I don't want him there.
I don't know. I think he's going to be very popular.
Change my mind.
Kenny, he's played great this fall. Like, he's got some of the best course, like, recent form coming into. I mean, we got 3 top 12s in his last 4 starts. I mean, that is top tier stuff.
I just never think Bo Hostler. I hate him, and I think he whips slaves. Remember? So So I have a weird bias. So
sure.
I think no one's going to play him, but maybe he is popular. I don't know.
Again, check the ownership numbers out as they come tomorrow. If I was going to
play him, then you're probably right.
Right. But, I mean, there's reason to do it. And, Kenny, there's a thing, though. You can't fade every chalky option. The reason they chalk is because there's reasons that these people are clicking.
Oh, also chalk. Easy to fade.
Yeah, that's also a good point, too. You got to pick your battles. You got to go with what you can there. Maybe if you want to bet him finishing inside the top, top 20 or so, that might be the way to kind of get you exposure to Bo Hostler. I will lead off with a fade. Kurt Kitayama, Kenny, struggled at this golf course. He leads this field in top 40s, 71% of the time for me. In the last 12 months, 0 top-ups. 0 top-ups. You've got to go 15 months back to find his first top 5. Yes, there's been a few top 6s, top 8s, wada, but he's a definite fade for me. Seamus Power. I will be going to him. I like Steven Yeager, and I like Matthew McCarty. I'll go back to this dude again. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll go back to him. Again, similar conditions that we've seen last week. I guess we already know his caddy can do the math, right? His caddy can already do the math.
Yes,
so,
he can. I like him a lot. He's good. Sorry.
No, go ahead. 8K range. Go ahead.
8K range. Give me some Adam Hadwin. Give me some Cameron Davis. Some Harry Hall. Ben Griffin. I like a lot of these guys in the 8s. I might kind of just lean into my 210K, Davis Thompson, Taylor Pendrith, play a few of the 9s, and then go right into this 8K range where I really, really fancy Cameron Davis in particular. Grades out very well for me. He suits these short positional golf courses. He's very good at driving the golf ball when accuracy is important. He's doing good. Harry Hall's got phenomenal course history here. He's a UNLV guy. I can see him doing some good stuff. Now, Ben Griffin struggled at this venue, but he's playing some good golf, as we've mentioned. Like him a lot, too. And then Johnny Vegas might going to be a little Johnny Vegas in Vegas, baby. I like that a lot. I think at $8,000 flat, he's going to be one of the lowest owned options in this 8K range.
I like that play because even though he's known for his length off the tee, he's somewhat accurate.
Yeah,
right?
he's been playing
good. He's not like crazy ass wild off the tee, at least not recently. So I do like that play as like a low owned guy down there. I really didn't think of him, but like as you were talking about it makes a lot of sense. Cameron Davis, third cash game cornerstone. Again, we talked about him earlier. A lot of narrative play, but yeah, you know what? It's a fall. I'm going for it. And again, he's class in this field. At $8,700, I think he might be the highest owned golfer in this field. Because he's super cheap, and he's won on tour, so the guy's a stud. He should have made the President's Cup team. I'll go ahead and take him in cash as my third cash game cornerstone. All the guys you spoke about, I'm a fan of the 7K range. JJ Spawn, like you said, he ranks number 1 in my model. It seems like he's healthy. He just shot that +3 in the first round. Like, fuck it, I'm not going to play.
Doing himself or something.
Yeah. And so, so he comes out there. So I do like him a lot. I like Andrew Putnam. He makes a lot of cuts. I think he makes sense in cash. I know Ben Coley was on him this week, so it makes it pretty easy for me to just go ahead and click him. So he's not one of my cash game cornerstones, but he's in my cash lineup. I want to go ahead and play him. my final cash game cornerstone, I'll go ahead and go down. It's going to be Berger at $7,200. Again, he's gained strokes in every single metric in 2 straight events now. Like, he's gained strokes with approach, off the tee, around the green, and putting. I think even putting. In the last 2 events he's played, he says he feels 100% healthy. Like, that's pretty impressive because he was like +3, +4, like you said. At some point in round 1, he made a couple bogeys, birdies coming in to at least get closer. But I mean, I think he finished even or over par after the first round.
Yeah.
The one bad round hopefully got out of him. So my cash game cornerstones for this week are going to be Pendrith at 10,200, Eric Cole at 9,000, Cam Davis at 88, and Berger at 72. It's not surprising. I bet all 4 of these guys as well. I do like all 4 of these guys a lot this week. Who do you like in the 7K range?
Kevin Yu. Let's go with Kevin Yu after winning 2 weeks ago at the Sandersons. $7,800. We got a winner on the Full Swing event. Maybe he shows up again. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Love JJ Spahn, as we mentioned. Kenny, he's doing some good stuff. Matty Schmidt at the top of the board. Andrew Putnam will be interesting. We'll see what that ownership look like with his course history here, but he'll be someone I might get to, might not. Patton Kazaya, Chan Kim, kind of $7,600, $7,300 options. Obviously, Daniel Berger will be in the mix one way or another. I'll also be going back to Alex Smalley and Jacob Bridgman down in the bottom here. I think Smalley flashed really nicely with the irons a week or 2 ago. Didn't quite show up this last week, but if that iron play kind of bounces back again and what he was feeling 2 weeks ago pops back up again, we could see some seriously good golf from him. And then, as always, Henrik Norlander at 7,000 flats is an option I'll be looking to go to in a big way. And I'll round it out there with Chesson Hadley, who's got some phenomenal course history at this venue. $7,000 on the money. He's finished 27th, 37th, 7th, and 18th in 4 of his last 5 trips around TPC Summerlin. So there's a lot to like about old Chesson, snappy-go-lucky Chesson Hadley there.
2 other guys I like, Novak at 7,200. He's making a shit ton of cuts. Iron game, really, really strong. Justin Lower at 7,200 also. One of the best putters on bent in this field. Makes a lot of birdies. I think he can putt his way. One of the guys who can putt his way to a win this week. I would not be shocked if he's near the top of that leaderboard. 6K range. One other guy, Ben Cole's 5. I'll play him at $7,000. Joe Highsmith, like I said, a couple of top 15s coming in here, $6,900. Chad Ramey is another Ben Coley pick. I'll just go ahead and tag along because Ben's smarter than I am. Trace Crow is someone I think is going to be very, very low owned, whose iron game has been strong. He's really good with his wedges. Maybe you can get a little bit of low ownership there. Who do you like in the 6K range? All
right, Kenny, I'll start at the bottom. How about some Rafael Campos and Robbie Shelton at $6,200 a pop? Both guys, can do some stuff. Rafael Campos pops. He's one of these GPP play options, kind of like we said with David Skins, who also is part of my mix. He's just showing up, misses cut, top 13. Misses cut, 17th. Don't play me in GPP. He's not a safe option. You want to get exposure. Again? Rafael Campos.
Okay.
And I will add Hayden Springer to the same exact situation. He is one of these guys that kind of just does this off the cuff, show up, suck, show up, suck, show up. That's what he's been doing. And then Rico Hoey. Give me him at $6,900. I love what he's been up to. This dude's been actually showing up quite routinely, making a lot of cuts. I mean, I'm looking at the $6,000 range, and I'm seeing missed cuts for everybody except for Rico. So he could be a nice cash game sneaky option if you're looking for one of those, along with the GPP world. Give me him. And then Carson Young, CT Pan, right in the $6,700 range. Same situation. I'm looking for guys that are just going to be popping, that have had some good finishes, even though their strokes gained metrics are going to be pretty messed up by the missed cuts that they have. These guys are in the $6,000 range in a Full Swing event for a reason. But some of these dudes are going to show up. So if you're looking for guys to to pop, go take a look at some course history, recent form. If they've got some decent metrics in the past, play them. They're going to be low owned. These are guys that help you win GPPs. So I think the 6K range is the range I'll be looking to really take some serious stands, along with your boy Fluff Cowan's CT Pan there. Kenny.
All right. Yeah, I like David Skins. I like your Rico Hoey call. I was a fan of him last week too, so I'll probably go ahead and use it. Anybody else? We miss anything?
No, that's it for me.
Tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on X at The Model Maniac. You can find me at Back9Bets on Mayo Media Network. And you can find me doing everything PGA and a little bit of NFL for rotoballer.com. So I've been doing that with some fun props betting, which I've fired the model up for now that we have some metrics for 2024 season.
Make sure you listen to the Byron Show. I know we were a little bit light on the golf this week because I decided to be an asshole. So make sure if you want more in-depth information, tune in to Back9Bets. If you go ahead and catch the replay, if you're listening to this on Mayo Media Network, go to YouTube, watch his show. He'll go in depth on all his plays, on all his bets, and show you exactly what you need to see to be convinced to tail. All right, you can find me on X at KendoVT. You can find my articles every week on gupscorner.com. Use promo code Kenny. Save yourself 30% on a sub to Gups Corner. Also, don't forget, go to Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code Mayo. Get yourself a deposit match up to $1,000 for first-time signees. And, of course, go to kickbackgolf.com. Use promo code FGD15. Get yourself 50% off all of their cool merchandise. All right, so another week. Should be fun. Let's win some motherfucking money. DGen Nation.
I've been getting dirty money, Jordan Belfort. Stacking penny stocks while I'm flipping these birds. Sipping on Ciroc, trip 'em up with the words.